Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Do you want to get into Patek Philippe? Do you want to get into complications? Do you want to get into high horology? And hell, do you want to get into vintage? How about one watch that opens every single one of those doors? This is that watch. The Patek Philippe 5035G-001 in white gold represents the first ever annual calendar. As invented and launched by Patek Philippe at Basel 1996, the 5035G is a complication, a Patek Philippe. It is high horology. It is a watch that offers you a vintage timepiece, as the first of these, including this tritium dial example, now date back over 2 decades. This is the ground floor on so many different parts of your journey as a collector. It deserves your consideration. At 37 millimeters in white gold, this is an easy watch to wear, and you can see my 16 centimeter circumference wrist wears it easily. It's neither thick nor thin. For an automatic complication, 10.8 millimeters with a generously sloped case flank means this will fit underneath any dress cuff, jacket, or shirt. Lug to lug, it's nice and confined to 44 millimeters laterally, so you can wear this watch easily on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. It's also a great unisex option in complications. 19 millimeter lug spacing, so you will have many options, but you want to consider this Patek factory strap as your first, because it's nicely made. Large rectangular scale alligator leather with a semi-gloss finish. We'll get a little bit closer, and you can see that this one features cutouts on the underside and Patek Philippe pull tab spring bars so that you can quickly and easily swap straps and remove for close cleaning of the case. It features a full Patek Philippe white gold deployant clasp for security while donning or removing from the wrist, and as you can see, all of high polish, nicely finished. The timepiece is handsome, fluid, and sensuous. You love to run your finger over watches like this because their curves are complex, undulating, and gratifying. There's something that's almost, dare I say it, slightly provocative about these lines. So fluid and organic are they. They're almost biomorphic. And you can see this one being very old school, back when Patek watches featured lateral hallmarks, that is, hallmarking in the flanks of the case. This is one of the earliest examples from the mid-1990s. As you can see, an early example of the Swiss Saint Bernard precious metal hallmark, as well as a hallmark denoting white gold. The timepiece has almost a flame surfacing effect as you move the case through the light, and in the fashion of many modern Patek Philippe watches, it includes a concave bezel that slopes inward to pare down the visual mass. The dial is simple and lovable, a combination of applique white gold Roman numerals with white gold leaf or foy style hands at center. The dial is a black base and nicely balanced. It has a bilateral symmetry. You can literally draw a line from 12 to 6 and cut it in half. You have the day of the week, you have the month of the year, you have an aperture date at 6 o'clock, and a 24-hour danger zone. This works as both an AM/PM if you happen to be inside and you really don't know whether it's day or night. It also acts as a danger zone indicator, so you know when not to use these case-side pusher adjusters to adjust the annual calendar. Railroad track outboard and a nicely counterbalanced lacquered white Lancet-style seconds hand, beating away at 21,600 vibrations per hour or 6 beats per second. This is an original tritium dial, and you can see that lovely old tritium fade. It doesn't have much luminescence left to it, so it glows for about 1 moment and then fades in the dark. It doesn't have luminova, but the fact that it is original tritium means that this piece is exactly as a collector would want it, unrefurbished and unadulterated by subsequent service. Now, the annual calendar system is built on top of the Patek Philippe manufacture caliber 315, and it bears mentioning that Patek invented the annual calendar. There are perpetual calendars, which are able to cope with irregular length months and leap years, and then there are simple calendars which need to be corrected 5 times per year, as well as during leap years. Well, this is a watch that sort of splits the difference between a perpetual and a simple. It needs to be adjusted only once annually during the jump from February to March, hence the term annual calendar, and Patek Philippe invented it. If you're going to buy an annual, get a Patek, because you're getting the root of the species. And the origin of the species here is gorgeous, as the caliber 315, the predecessor to the later 324, beats away at 6 beats per second rather than the 324's 8 beats per second, and it features a bidirectional winding system rather than the 324's unidirectional winding system. This one featuring the Geneva hallmark, another discontinued Patek tradition, and you can see that this watch is redolent of Geneva style. Abrasive wheel Côte de Genève in linear fashion, circular Côte de Genève on the engraved winding mass. There's a micro perlage in spiral fashion at the center of the rotor. The Gyromax style free sprung balance, which takes a 5-position adjustment like a chronometer, gives the watch greater ability to take and hold a precise adjustment and retain it in the face of vibrations, disruptions, concussion on the wrist. Now, the movement does feature 35 joules, 35 to 45 hour automatically wound power reserve, and thanks to the screwed in case back, 30 meters water resistant, but you wouldn't necessarily want to go swimming with this one. Black polished screw heads, all with chamfered slots, mirrored anglage, and you can see it on the edge of the bridges as I move it square to the camera, as well as in every single jewel and screw countersink. An annual calendar from the inventors of the type. This is the origin of the species, and perhaps, if you're into Patek, high horology, vintage, or complications, and just getting started, the origin of a new collecting thread for you. See it and make it happen on the Watchbox.